I guess for both of you guys, obviously shorthanded tonight with some guys out. Just kind of take us through what Coach Jan said about coming into this game and knowing that he would need both of you guys and everybody on the roster tonight.
He just emphasizes that we're gonna need everybody. Like the reason we practice a lot, the reason we practice hard and stuff like that, because like you never know when stuff like that'll happen. Guys go down, it happens all year. So you just got to be ready, and you got to be ready for whoever to step up next.
Same thing with T. Steve said. You know, he said he emphasizes that how everybody goes down, and it gave others opportunities to step up and show what they can do in different moments in the game.
We'll go to Brian here to the front of the players.
First off, how's your head?
Oh, it's cool now. I was feeling a little dizzy at first.
Both of you guys were able to turn defense into offense tonight, block some shots and get control of them, some steals. And was that the message from Coach Jans in the locker room that, hey, we've got to be able to score in transition since we don't have our guards tonight?
Yeah, score in transition and play defense. We wouldn't play. He said we weren't playing hard enough, so he was just turn up the intensity and play as a bulldog.
Yeah.
We'll go to Steph over here to the players' right.
Eshawn, I guess what's kind of been for you, this season, getting back into the mix, do you feel comfortable kind of with the minutes you're getting so far? And I guess what was it like career high, 8 points today to kind of contribute like that finally?
It felt great, man. I'm just glad to be here with my new teammates, man, and show the Bulldog family what I can do, and I can actually produce for the team.
We'll go to Theo in the second row.
Tyler, you're also, of course, new here to Mississippi State, obviously grew up in New Hope. What's it been like playing for the Bulldogs so far this year?
It's been a great experience so far playing with these group of guys and these coaches, the coaching staff and my players. We all believe in one another, and we all give each other confidence. So that really helps out a lot, making a new adjustment, new home.
Anything else for the players? Again, raise your hands. We'll go back over. Actually, let's stay over here and let's go to David, and then we'll come back over here.
For both you guys, even though they made a few late baskets, which kind of inflated the figure. How much pride do you take in the defense that this whole group puts out? The defense just seems to not stop no matter what the offense is doing.
You got it.
Well, defense it's been a big thing for us, so we just want to keep emphasizing that and making sure that stays on point. The offensive side is going to come, but we always want to keep working hard and practice on the defensive stuff that we need to, so we can just keep holding guys to under a certain amount of points and just keep locking up.
Go back over here to Steph to the players' right.
I guess kind of follow up my question earlier. What was kind of Coach Jan's message to you, when he first got here, kind of what role he saw you, contributing to this team, and what he thought of you as a player to, get you to stay here and keep playing for Mississippi State?
He knew that I was a good offensive player, so he knew that defense was going to be a little struggle for me. So, like, all summer and every practice I worked on defense. So when he came here, he talked about a lot of defense, no offense, because he knew offense would come. So, like, when he got here, he told me, like, if I want to play, you got to be defense. Like, it wasn't no just offense. I had to do both.
We'll go over here to Paul. Paul, do you have anything?
Tyler, I guess back to my first question about him needing you guys to step up and then needing everybody on the roster. How weird was it in the first half to not have a real point guard out there and Cam playing the three? How different was that for y'all offensively?
Me, it was a little different, but it wasn't really too much of a difference because we were preparing like that all week. Guys were down throughout the week, so the way we were playing, that's how we were practicing. Mook at the three, DJ at the one, and we were just prepared for it, and I think we handled it pretty well.
Got time for a couple more. We'll go back to Theo in the second row.
For both of you guys, what do you think it is that makes this defense one of the top 10 statistically in the country?
Our togetherness, and how we trust in one another. We trust the next man to have our back, and we talk pretty well.
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. We'll start with Paul when Coach is ready.
I'm ready. Take a deep breath. Like, you got a big question to ask.
Just kind of, before we get into the game details, just kind of an update on, I guess, Horton and Rams and when you kind of expect them back.
Following Florida, we had made a decision, actually before Florida, that if he didn't progress anymore, and we didn't think that he would with 2 games in 3 days, that we were going to shut him down for at least a week and reevaluate it, which is Wednesday. and see where he's at. Anyone that watches him, he's been hobbling since the first game of the year. And we didn't play him in the South Dakota game. They played like 4 or 5 minutes against Pine Bluff. We thought we could get it healed up then, and it just didn't happen. So we've shut him down completely for a week since the Florida game. And we'll reevaluate it Wednesday and see where he's at. Jamel is more of a day-to-day. He had some issues in Florida. He played through it, got back here, and it just didn't go away. And so, I'll find out more on Wednesday with him as well.
Go ahead, Steph.
Chris, for you guys, the numbers on the defensive end continue to be, pretty impressive, I guess. How much did you see maybe today the success on defense translate to when the offense kind of started to get going a bit?
I think overall I was fairly disappointed with our defensive numbers. Weren't as good as what I thought they would be going into the game after watching Omaha on film. I thought we could have a little more of a dominating defensive performance. We didn't start off very well. We certainly had a funky lineup to start the game, and then we never really got it going there until the second half. We had that group out there that flew around and turned them over and kind of turned the tide, if you will, and got the crowd into the game, and they played very, very good. And then certainly at the end, I think they scored 4 of the last 5 possessions or something like that, and that was disappointing end. But, that's our calling card right now is that end of the floor, and we've got to be really, really good on that end of the floor because the ball's not going through the net that much. People are gapping us all over the place. Eventually, we're going to have to step up and make some threes, or otherwise people are going to guard us that way all year long.
We'll go to Theo, second row middle, striped shirt.
Leading into that, did you think there was any offensive improvement today from the previous games? Obviously, you guys shot a better percentage, but I didn't know what you thought of the offense overall.
It's never going to be aesthetically pleasing when people just play off you so much. It's hard. It's hard because the natural decision to make is to shoot the ball when you're open. But what we keep talking about is, hey, if people are going to guard us that way, let's explore what we really want first. We can always get that later. But as a young person with pride and a game, that's really not the mentality that they have. So it's hard to get anyone to understand what we're trying to do when people are defending us that way. I do believe in the end we're going to make enough shots. I watch them in practice every day. It becomes contagious. We're going to have a breakout game here, and we're going to make shots more consistently. It wasn't like we didn't make some tonight. I mean, we shot about 30% from 3, which unfortunately is our average right now. It's not like we shot 15 or 20%, but people are going to make us do that and prove that we can shoot the ball from the outside. And certainly Tolu has something to do with that as well. If you play him one-on-one, he's usually a problem on most nights. But I'd have to watch the film to really tell you an honest answer if we were any better on offense tonight or not.
We'll go to coaches left in the table and Parrish.
Coach, you've taken several teams to the tournament. How does this team compare with some of those teams at this point in the season? And can you become that team if you don't find that breakout game on offense that you're talking about?
That's not a question that I expected to answer today. It's not something that I think about all the time. We're really locked into, being everyday guys and trying to build, the things that we feel this team needs to be really good at that are obvious. Guarding the ball, rebounding the ball, which we were just okay at on the defensive end tonight, taking care of the basketball, which has been better as of late. Even without 2 point guards, I thought we did a good job that way. But we haven't shied away from the fact that that's the goal. Since we first arrived, we're trying to be an NCAA tournament team each and every year. And I've been telling our team since we've arrived that talent won't be a problem. We have enough talent. I'm not saying we have an abundance amount of talent that we can play any way we want and still get into the tournament. But that's the goal. That's what we're fighting to do. And we'll see. We'll see how it all unfolds. We got to just take care of business every day and try to get some wins.
Go ahead, David.
When you can beat a team by 20 from a respectable league like they are, and then be able to tell your players you're disappointed with their level of defense, what does that say about the standards you're setting and that you believe they're capable of on the defensive end?
Well, tell you most coaches feel that way. I mean, most coaches are playing against the game. You know, that's what we talked about at halftime. It's not just about who we're playing. We're playing against the game. You know, we're trying to be as best as we can with the best game as a standard each and every time we step on the floor. And sometimes, you know, as young people, it's hard to understand that. And that's our job to get them to feel that way and respond in kind. And, you know, it's just the expectations that we have from when we've arrived, that we're going to be everyday guys and we're going to be about the right stuff and play the right way. And certainly, you know, we make mistakes each and every day, but for the most part, I think the fans and the people that watch us play would agree that these kids are playing pretty hard and they're flying around and they're trying to do the right thing. And certainly as a coach, that's what we're asking for. And at the same time, my job is to ask for more and to be greedy and want to get, you know, more better than they want to every day, but that's just the life of a coach.
We'll go back to the cameras and Grace.
Coach, the newest AP poll came out today. Obviously not something that's extremely important when coaching games like this, but the team was receiving votes, first couple teams out of that top 25. Did you expect them to be here at this point in the season? Do you feel like that's where they deserve to be at this point?
It does matter. You know, it does matter. When we can get attention in a positive way and get exposure, get people talking about our program, no matter what it is, if it's a ranking, if it's someone doing some sort of profile, if it's someone saying some good things about our guys and our team, I think that just is a feel good, and it makes the guys feel good. I think it makes the fans feel good, and it makes us feel good that people respect our program and what we're doing. So certainly, you know, was made aware of that, and but at the same time, you know, that's not the ultimate goal. We got to continue to work and grind and get better and see where we're at the end of the year.
Middle and Jack.
Obviously, with your 2 point guards out, you're kind of having DJ in there running some point forward. I guess what did you kind of see from him, kind of, you know, taking on a different role tonight?
I think he was excited. You know, he likes when the ball's in his hands. You know, we've toyed with it, tinkered with it already this season. We played a few possessions with him at the point, and because of our 2 point guards being out, you know, he got to practice at the point for 2 days, and he's comfortable out there. You know, he's comfortable with the ball in his hands, and I would say from the naked eye, he did a pretty good job. He kept us organized. You know, he was communicating with me more tonight than normally he would, you know, trying to be an extension of me, which is one of the responsibilities of the point guard in our system. But I would say, you know, he did a pretty good job considering, and I don't know what he did in high school, but can't imagine he's played a lot of point in his career up until now.
Second row, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Shaquille Moore tonight, obviously he started the season off in a bit of a slump, but he looks good right there running the floor. What have you seen from him so far this season?
Yeah, I mean, he's had some good spurts for us. I think, you know, he's frustrated. The ball's not going in the hole at the rate that he would like, and certainly not the rate that we would like, but I think it'll get there. You know, he was working when I walked through the gym just now, and but the good thing for Shaquille and for us is he's gotten better defensively. You know, he's got some instincts that you can't teach. He gets his hands on balls. He that one ball tonight on the other end was in the air, and he just leaped out of nowhere and grabbed it with 2 hands and just made an athletic play. And the way he's built and the athleticism that he possesses, that's what we kept telling him. There's no reason that you're not really good in our system, especially on the defensive end, because of all that. And it's taken him a while, but now he sees, you know, that he can be disruptive on the defensive end and not just worry about scoring. So hopefully, you know, the ball will go in the basket for him and get his confidence back.
Got time for a couple more. We'll go to Steph.
Keyshawn said when you came in and you kind of first talked to him that you told him you knew about the offensive game, but it was going to be about, you know, get him going on the defensive end. I guess what have you thought of him on both sides of the floor as he's kind of, you know, starting to get more minutes, get more playing time? Obviously, it's been a while, you know, since we've seen him out on the court.
I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? He's got a lot of talent for his size. I mean, he shoots a softball, a high arcing three. He's quick around the basket. I'm not comparing him to Tolu, but Tolu's one of his best qualities, how quick he is around the basket. And Keyshawn has that quality as well. He really moves and he's comfortable in traffic, and no question about it. I mean, and he was behind the 8 ball. You know, he was hurt when I basically when I arrived, and he didn't get to practice with us much this summer. He had some setbacks in the fall, and now he has stacked some weeks together, and he's been healthy. He's been in practice every day, so he's starting to get in that type of game shape that's required to play the way we're trying to play. And it is, the defensive end is the ticket for him, and he's been better lately. And I've told him that. He's been in a stance. He's had a little more grit to him. He's trying to do the right thing, and then obviously he got rewarded with more minutes tonight, which is great when it works that way, and he took advantage of it. I mean, he can score the basketball, and obviously for a team that struggles to score at times, there's space for guys that can put the ball in the hole.
You mentioned a couple of weeks ago about how important games that you're supposed to win and finding minutes for guys and giving them that opportunity. How much more important was that tonight, knowing you were shorthanded, knowing you were going to need 9 or 8 points for several different guys?
We talked a lot about that prior to the game, even yesterday at practice, shoot around, pregame, that this is why we practice the way we do. If you do this long enough, you understand that you're very rarely going to go through a season unscathed and have everyone available every single game. It's just not reality. It's a marathon season, and even though we're not wearing pads and helmet, it's a very physical game, and a lot of things happen over the course of the season. So having everyone prepared and knowing that they'll have opportunities and getting them to buy into that is really important to me and my staff. And hopefully, I can't speak for them. They understand that as well. But because of that, we said we're prepared. There's no one that's going to be freaking out about it. We're not going to miss a step. Just going to move some pieces around a little bit, and this is what I was talking about. These are your opportunities, and now what you're going to do with it. You want more minutes, then play well, be productive, show me where you're at. And I think for the most part, the guys that maybe hadn't been playing as many minutes, are going to make decisions tougher on me and my staff as we go forward.
We'll go Theo and then Steph to wrap it up.
Tolu's been rated Ken Palm's best SEC player so far. How has he played relative to your expectations this season?
About what I expected. I was not caught, but I was recorded many times saying if we want to be the type of team we want to be, he had to be a first-team all-league player, and he's playing like it right now. And not even in the stat sheet, his unselfishness, they're beating him up down there, and he's handling it. He doesn't complain. He fights off double teams. He's a willing passer. His assist-to-turnover ratio is much better at this point than it was last year, and that was a big focus for my staff and I when we arrived, because we anticipated us wanting to play inside out through him and anticipating some double teams, and he's handled it really, really well. So certainly, like all of us, he can get better, but I really like where he's at.
Steph, wrap us up.
Kind of just a follow-up on Deshaun. You said you're going to reevaluate on Wednesday. I guess looking at the schedule, would you consider playing it safe then on Saturday, knowing that you kind of have that next week off completely before the Minnesota game?
It'll be all up to him. It'll be all up to him and the doctors and the trainers. And, it's a situation where, it's when he's ready to go, he's ready to go. We're not going to hold him back if he feels really good. We might ease into it a little bit, depending on how he feels. But it's going to be his decision. We got to get this right. We can't keep playing this game where he's hobbling around, he's not himself. And but fortunately, we made the decision to play him even when he wasn't full strength in Florida, and we don't win that Utah game if he doesn't knock those threes down. He's a valuable member of our team, and we really need him, and hopefully he can get healthy here real soon.